All right, good day, everyone, and welcome to Prep Huddle Live here on StrivSports.com. I'm Eric Allgood. We are kicking off the new school year, and we've got a new way of bringing you some of the best stories and interviews from across the state from our Striv schools. Before we get too far started and into the show, we have to say welcome to our newest team member. Austin Penfield is working feverishly off to my left, your right, as he gets the show produced. Taylor Siebert is handing off those duties as Striv continues to grow. Our team has grown, and excited to have Austin, a recent graduate, as in May, graduate of Hastings College, and previously of, even though they weren't a Striv school at the time, now they are, Johnson Brock. Of course, we just featured Johnson Brock on our Camp Confidential series, so excited about that. Austin will be doing the producing of our Prep Huddle Live show. And if you notice that our graphics and our video quality for Game of the Week stuff or just graphics in general has taken a step up, that's because of him. We are excited for today's show, first of all, because we have a good one. Berk Brown with Nebraska Prep Volleyball will join us. We always like picking Berk's brain about volleyball and getting his take. He sees a lot of it, has some great connections, so we generally use his knowledge and pass it off as our own sometimes. We also head down to Sutton, and we talk with football coach Steve Raymer about his Mustangs as they get ready to take on Malcolm in our Channel Seed Game of the Week this week. And then we'll get Tony Chapman, our StrivSports.com writer, on the phone on the Truck Center Company's hotline, and we'll talk about some of last week's Striv Stars. We'll talk about this week's Striv 5 games on the Friday night spotlight that you won't want to miss, and then, of course, our Game of the Week as well. First of all, I think we're all ready to go, so we need to bring in Berk Brown of NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com. Berk, good day, and welcome to the 2016-17 school year.
Boy, it feels like it took forever to get a few moments ago, but the fact that you guys have 20-some volleyball games, streaming on your networks starting tomorrow. I mean, it's amazing, and it's just helping grow the sport, and just appreciate everything that you guys do as well.
Yeah, I think I roughly counted 22 matches that you can see tomorrow evening on the Striv network. So we're very excited about that, and I think we're getting close to that as well for football on Friday night. There's actually a lot of Striv schools that are on the road to non-Striv schools, but we'll talk about that later. We want to talk about volleyball right now because summer camps and the teams, they're not going away anytime soon, Berk. I know you had a busy summer. It was fun to kind of follow along with you on Twitter to see the different places you were at. Give us a little summary about the places you went and the team camps and the select clubs even that you got to see over the summer.
Yeah, you know what? Over the summer, and really that was kind of a big reason why I wanted to start Nebraska Prep Volleyball is the summertime after the high school season ends. There's really not a whole lot of downtime. I mean, you've got the club stuff that runs really from January through the end of June, first part of July. And so that's just a kind of a chance to see, much like, AAU basketball, just kind of some of the best together and playing more regional and national level competition. And you really see some great competition and kids getting a lot better just with the extra reps. And, of course, Nebraska always competes well on a national level. VC Nebraska out of Lincoln is a club. Former Husker Maggie Griffin runs that, and they won a national championship, had a couple other teams competing late for national championships as well. Of course, Nebraska Juniors down in Lincoln fielded some great teams. Nebraska Elite, they had a team make another run. They had a team win a national championship in the Open Division last year, and that same team came back and made it to the top 10 this year. So just some great volleyball during the summer. And then once July rolls around, it's team camp time. The high school coaches get their kids back together, and basically, if a college in Nebraska had a team camp, I tried to get down there, not only to talk to the college coaches a little bit, get their feedback, but just see, really how these high school teams were coming together during the course of the summer. Chris Connor at Kearney Catholic always has what I think is one of the best camps at top 10 camp, but we also hit Creighton's camp and UNO's camp, Hastings College, University of Nebraska at Kearney, Wayne State, Doane. We University of Concordia down at Seward. So it's just a chance to watch a lot of volleyball, and it keeps my wife happy because I'm gone a lot. So it's kind of a double win.
Well, we always like when everybody can win. You mentioned that especially July with those team camps, you get to see a lot of the high school girls as well. Who are some of the individuals that you saw maybe take a big step from the end of last year into the summer, and hopefully they can translate it now into August and September?
Yeah, one girl that I think really, not that I'm necessarily focusing on Striv schools, it just happens to be that she is. Jamie Troster, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry.
I think it's Traster, actually.
Traster, okay, yep. Jamie Traster, the setter at Hampton.
Yep.
She, to me, now in my rankings, I start Hampton at number 1 over Exeter Milligan, and really it's irrelevant because they play each other tomorrow night anyway, and they'll either prove me wrong or prove me right. But Jamie was really, the work that she put in over the summer, you could see that it really paid off, and I think that's going to be what helps take Hampton to another level. Of course, they've got all kinds of talent, and everybody knows about Madison Van Heusen, but, she was a kid that I really liked as far as just the overall improvement. Grand Island Northwest is another school that I don't know that you talk about any individual person, but just their team as a whole is incredible to watch. They really seem like they've taken a big step forward as well, just collectively. So that was fun to watch. Kristen Lux at North Bend, she's a kid that really took off this summer. She plays her club ball at Nebraska Juniors, and she had a lot of Division I coaches kind of following her around, and I know that she had a lot of interest around her, so she really, really turned a lot of heads. And then St. Paul is a team that came out and competed really, really well against larger schools, the Class A schools, Class B schools, during the course of UNO team camp and the Kearney Catholic Top 10 camp. And so I think Leslie Fox is, always been a great player, but I think she really took a step up over the summer, and she's committed to Hastings College, and she'll be a great player for them. And then Clara, again, I don't know if I'm butchering these last names, but I believe it's Thied or Thetty, as a setter, really impressed me as well. So, those are some kids and some teams that just off the top of my head, I think really took big leaps forward, and you'll hear a lot more about them this fall.
Give us a couple of teams that you think, regardless of class, really, that might surprise us at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think, if I went Class A, the team that I think can be really surprising is Lincoln North Star. I think it's been a long time since Lincoln has had maybe a real solid state championship contender, and I'm not sure that North Star is quite at that level, but I think they're a team that could surprise a lot of people. They've got all the things that you kind of look for. They've got a top-notch libero in Aaron Williams that's just a sophomore. They bring back a setter, which is, in my opinion, always huge when you have experience there, and Alexa Mustard. And then they have kind of the go-to hitter in Jenna Tedderman. And I think, Class A is going to be a little bit more balanced this year, not quite as top-heavy. And Lincoln North Star is a team that, in my opinion, has the pieces where they could kind of come off the radar a little bit and do some things. And then Class C1, I really like what I saw this past weekend out of Grand Island Central Catholic. It's a team that's got just a scad of talent. They brought in a transfer from Centura, whose name is escaping me at the exact moment. Madison Myers is her name. It really makes them complete. And out at the state fair this past weekend, they were able to beat Gretna and looked really sharp. And I think that might be a team in Class C1 is going to be absolutely loaded. But I think Grand Island Central Catholic can be a team that surprises a lot of people and winds up playing in the last day of the season for a state championship.
And Berk, I want to ask you one thing about that state championship, because the NSAA and the member schools, I think in C1 and C2 did a great thing. They ratified the use of it. It got called sub-state, and then NSAA said, let's just keep the terminology the same. So there's a little bit different end to the postseason, where you will have the 12 sub-district winners, and the next 4 in wild cards will go to a district final, and from those 16 teams, you will find the 8 winners going on to state. So it's a format that Class B has used, and it got passed in Class C, but not in D1 and D2. So C1 and C2 will get to try it out, and I want to get your thoughts on how good you think that sub-state or district final setting, as it is now, will be in Class C1 and 2.
Yeah, it was great to see that pass. It's unfortunate that it didn't pass in D2, because really one of the big proponents was Tim Holes, the principal superintendent at Hampton Public Schools. And so it's unfortunate they came up a few votes short to get it in D1, D2. But very exciting that it's in C1 and C2 now, because it's generally one of the deepest classes where you see a lot of teams getting left out of the state tournament field by just tenths of hundreds of points. And so really, as it should be, it gets determined more on the court. Really, I think you can, whether you call it sub-state, district finals, whatever you call it, what it really is it's the first round of the state tournament, because you can't lose. And that's always been where I feel like a state tournament starts, is when if you lose, you're done. And so in essence, it can be called a lot of different things, but really, it's the first round of the state tournament, and I think it's going to get a handful more teams in. I think it's going to be exciting. I'm a little bit I think it's a great thing, and I think it moves the sport forward. I am a little bit concerned just about the fact that they'll be taking place on neutral courts, probably scattered throughout the state. I think the interest in those then will be limited. It's not quite the event that it could be. I know that I think Ron Powell at the Lincoln Journal-Star has talked about just trying to bring all those matches into Lincoln, or I'm kind of a proponent of putting them all in the Grand Island or Kearney area and making more of a festival or state tournament atmosphere out of it, so that there's more interest and more I guess, of a better atmosphere around those. But I think it's a great step forward. I think the matchups could be incredible, especially in C1, where you're looking at, probably legitimately 14 or so good state tournament quality teams. That's just going to create some phenomenal matches in that round between two very good teams.
It should be a lot of fun, I think, at the end of the year. Berk, tell us a little bit about your website, NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com. What are some of the things that we can find on there? And, your Twitter with Anchor is pretty good now.
Yeah, I at NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com, it's a subscription website. So for basically $30 a year, it has and rankings and individual player rankings, much like I guess you would find in a Rivals style website. So the big difference is that we continue our coverage year round. So we are covering, as we mentioned, the summer team camps. We're covering the club volleyball, and really it's nonstop volleyball coverage all year long. And then on Twitter, I realize not everybody's excited about forking over $30 for that. So we try to get as much out there via Twitter as well, as far as game updates, recruiting updates, all those things as well, so people can follow along. And Anchor's definitely going to be a big thing that we utilize moving forward. I think it's an incredible way to get 60 to 90-second sound bites out there to really talk about matches and talk about kids in a way that's condensed and easily listened to by people out there.
Well, I can't wait for the rest of the season and everything that we'll pick your brain about. We will have you on the show a lot, and I look forward to as we get closer to state as well, too, and doing some extra podcasts. So, Berk Brown with NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com. Thanks for joining us, and here's hoping your office smells like rich mahogany soon.
It will never smell as rich as yours, but I appreciate it. It's always good to talk with you, Eric, and love the work that you guys do. Keep it up.
All right. So stay tuned, folks. We're going to be back with more of Prep Huddle Live, and we're going to have Sutton football coach Steve Raymer on the way next.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
Home-cooked favorites and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to Dickeys.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a home-style side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to Dickeys.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.
Hey, what's going on?
Just checking the fields. Yours are looking pretty good. Must be doing something right.
Actually, I got a guy.
You got a guy?
Well, it's not just any guy. I got a channel seedsman.
Channel, yeah?
Yeah, I've been working with him pretty close to get, well, you can see for yourself. This is what I recommend. Let's get to work. Now this is what you want to see.
Maybe I should get a guy.
Maybe you should get a channel seedsman.
Find your channel seedsman at channel.com.
Nova Fitness Equipment of Omaha has provided the very best weight room, track and field, and sports surfacing products for over 30 years in Nebraska. They provide Cybex, Matrix Fitness, Vertimax, Tough Stuff, Pro Elite, Stairmaster, York Barbell, Troy Barbell, and UCS track and performance products. From rubber flooring, strength equipment, cardio products, and sports performance accessories, Nova Fitness Equipment has what you need to make your athletic program successful. Contact Nova Fitness Equipment today at their home office in Omaha or online at novafitnessequipment.com.
Trucking industry gives you a lot of opportunity for careers because there's such a wide, vast list of possibilities and areas that you can go into. As technicians, these trucks are as advanced as cars are today, so we need technicians that can work on them and understand how to work the computer system and get them up and running so the customer can make money. These trucks are workhorses, but they're built for comfort and they're easy to drive. Freightliner builds these trucks for drivers' wants and customers' needs.
Welcome back to Prep Huddle Live here on StrivSports.com. Earlier this week, I had a chance to get down just the road to Sutton High School, where I got to talk with Steve Raymer, the head coach of the Mustangs. They're getting ready for a matchup with Malcolm in our Channel Seed Game of the Week. Welcome back here on Prep Huddle Live on StrivSports.com. We've got Steve Raymer, the head coach of the Sutton Mustangs, and coach with the rain outside has chased us inside, but that's okay. We adapt well when we try not to be wet with the equipment. But take us back to last week first. You guys get a win over Donovan Trumbull. Defense has to step up, make a play late in the game, and to come out with a W in week one is always a good idea.
We started first half was a little rough for us. We start 5 sophomores on defense, so we give up like 28 points in the first half, and then we settled down, got back into assignments. So anytime you can grow as a team with young kids and get a W, you're pretty happy.
Talk about the growth within a game that young players have to go through. The first time you step on a varsity field is just so different from anything you've ever done in your life.
Yeah, I mean, you can practice it 1,000 times, but their brain goes blank as soon as we hit the main field. So, we're going to learn. We're going to get better at the year end. We're going to make some mistakes. We have to learn how to overcome them. With youth, you're going to have some things. You're going to get some turnovers. You're going to get some penalties. You're going to get some blown assignments. We just have to stay mentally tough and keep fighting for 4 quarters.
Talk about, though, you do have some guys coming back, and Garrett Leach had a nice game. You guys don't do a lot of stuff fancy on offense. It's just kind of come at you, but eventually that snowball gets going?
You know, we keep it pretty simple. I mean, this is what we do. We're going to do it each week. We can do it every direction out of several formations. But we'll pass if they give it to us. Chandler Stone's a great quarterback for us. If we don't have to, we're not going to do it. And we didn't have to the other night. And that's, we'll take whatever it ends to get the W at the end each week.
Talk about the development of the guys over the summer. There's weight programs are becoming such a huge thing in the high school ranks, and now camps are a big thing to go to. What kind of stuff do you guys do over the summer?
Obviously the weight room's huge for us. Kids like, it's been in our program for 4 years with Tanner Peterson and Jacob Grease and Garrett Leach, just to name a couple. Christian Stingle. I mean, their guys are all benching over 300. They're all squatting well over 400. And then the guys you build your core around. And then our young kids have really sold in the weight room, so it's worked really well for them too. But we go to camps. We go to some contact camps. That's kind of where we work out the bugs of who's grown, who's moving into new positions, and a lot of things like that. I mean, you hope to go into that week one kind of with, you think, an alignment that's going to work for you and the main subs, and we try to work that out during the summer.
You guys also have a pretty strong wrestling program down here in Sutton. How do football and wrestling correlate for you as the football coach?
Well, just either of them, wrestling or basketball. We want our kids out for everything. When they get out with football, we'd like them to go to another sport. They go to a lot of our kids go to wrestling. A lot of them go to basketball. As long as they're in another form of competition, and both those coaches, Coach Gerber and Coach Ladhoff, push them hard at that point too, and run good discipline programs. That only helps us as well.
So now talk about the matchup coming up this week. Malcolm comes in. What's the scouting report for the Clippers?
They got some great players. Obviously, the first one that comes to your name is a Dishman kid. He's 6'5", 330. That kid's going to stand out there, and he's good. And they've got other factors in there. They got a really good running back, a good quarterback, another lineman in there. It's got to be 255, 260. They're going to run the ball right at you, and they're good at it. And but they can also pass the ball well and go to a little spread look. So they're going to give you multiple looks. Coach does a great job with them. So we have to be ready to play like we were last week.
I've heard it said that the biggest jump a team makes is between week 1 and week 2. Where do you think you'd like to see your team make the biggest gains?
We got to limit, make sure we know our assignments, our alignments, just little fundamental things. We need to continue to grow in that area. If you don't get better each week, you're not going to get a win each week.
Talk about the growth over the season that your guys, you hope your guys will be ready for. This is just week 2 of a 9-week schedule, so it's not necessarily baby steps, but it's hopefully a slow progression, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be a slow progression. We'll be a much better team at the end of the season than we are at the beginning, but it's just that slow growth. We start, like I said, there's 5 to 6 sophomores. We've moved Garrett Leach and Tanner Peterson to a couple different positions, so a lot of learning even by seniors of what their new jobs and assignments are.
So how does the learning for the students happen just as much as the coaches? Because it's got to be a little different for the coaches to be able to coach those kids in different spots too.
It is. I mean, you try to predict what the mistake they're going to make, and and help them out as much as you can. And a lot of it's just game time. We need game time, and every time we can get a game and get a victory, we're happy.
All right, Coach. We look forward to a great one Friday night.
Hey, thanks.
And again, you can catch that game on the Sutton Striv channel. It's the channel seed game of the week. Looking forward to that. We're getting some different things set up for that game. And Tony Chapman will be on the sidelines, where it'll be a new experience for Tony to be on the sidelines at the school. He patrolled the sidelines there when they were playing at the baseball field when he was working with the Clay County News years ago, getting his start as a writer. So excited for Tony to, quote-unquote, go home just a little bit here. Hey, we want to remind you that you might be watching us right now directly on Facebook. You might be watching us on strivsports.com. We'd love for you to follow us on all of our social media channels, because there's always something just a little bit different about each one. So we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter at Striv Sports. Don't forget, you can follow us on Snapchat as well. For those of you that on Snapchat, you can search Striv TV. You can follow us wherever we go. It might be the preview of Prep Huddle Live, like we did today. It might be the travels that Taylor takes to go on the Striv School visits. It might be from Austin and I at the game of the week. We might be all over the place, but Snapchat really kind of gets you some behind the scenes of what we do at Striv, and it's a lot of fun. We enjoy sharing those stories there on Snapchat. And don't forget, you can also subscribe to the Dish, which is on StrivSports.com. You get that day's streaming schedule sent directly to your inbox. You can also get all of the content that we produce on StrivSports.com, whether it's the replays of Prep Huddle Live or the latest podcast or the latest article that Tony has written. All of that gets sent to you directly in the Dish. So you can go to StrivSports.com/subscribe, and you can get the Dish straight into your inbox. When we come back to Prep Huddle Live, we will have Tony Chapman on the Truck Center Company's hotline. Stay right here.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
Home-cooked favorites and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to Dickeys.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a home-style side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to Dickeys.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.
Hey, what's going on?
Just checking the fields. Yours are looking pretty good. Must be doing something right.
Actually, I got a guy.
You got a guy.
Well, it's not just any guy. I got a channel seedsman.
Channel, yeah?
Yeah, I've been working with him pretty close to get, well, you can see for yourself. This is what I'd recommend. Let's get to work. Now this is what you want to see.
Maybe I should get a guy.
Maybe you should get a channel seedsman.
Find your channel seedsman at channel.com.
Nova Fitness Equipment of Omaha has provided the very best weight room, track and field, and sports surfacing products for over 30 years in Nebraska. They provide Cybex, Matrix Fitness, Vertimax, Tough Stuff, Pro Elite, Stairmaster, York Barbell, Troy Barbell, and UCS track and performance products. From rubber flooring, strength equipment, cardio products, and sports performance accessories, Nova Fitness Equipment has what you need to make your athletic program successful. Contact Nova Fitness Equipment today at their home office in Omaha or online at novafitnessequipment.com.
The trucking industry gives you a lot of opportunity for careers because there's such a wide, vast list of possibilities and areas that you can go into. As technicians, these trucks are as advanced as cars are today, so we need technicians that can work on them and understand how to work the computer system and get them up and running so the customer can make money. These trucks are workhorses, but they're built for comfort and they're easy to drive. Freightliner builds these trucks for drivers' wants and customers' needs.
Welcome back to Prep Huddle Live here on StrivSports.com. We've got Tony Chapman on the Truck Center Company's hotline now. Tony, we are here at the end of the first week of football, so we've got some players from last week that we want to highlight and mention because there are always some good Striv stars out there in the universe.
Yeah, absolutely, Eric. It was quite the week one, some impressive performances. Started up at Clarkson Lee. Brad Bunner, who seems like is in his about sixth year playing football for Coach Jim Clarkson, he led the Patriots to a 58-50 season opening win against Pender. He did it with 24 carries, 284 yards. He scored 8 touchdowns. And, of course, he scored the game winner for the Patriots. On defense, he added 21 tackles. We'll talk about the Patriots later. They got a big one this week. Down in Fall City in the southeast corner, Zane Heckenlively is added again. He ran for over 1,500 yards last year in their week one win against Southern, 35-12. He ran 22 times for 232 yards and 3 touchdowns. and then cover all the corners of the state, Eric. We'll go out to Grant for Perkins County. The backfield combination of Derek Siss and Charles Johnson. Johnson, the quarterback, Siss, the tailback. They beat Cambridge. It's Cambridge's first 8-man game, 52-42. They combined for 20 carries, 10 each for 319 yards and scored 5 touchdowns. A little closer to home, everybody remembers Christian Ellsworth from last year. His heir apparent is sophomore Carter Terry. In his first career start, he was 12 for 25 for 200 yards. He threw 4 touchdowns, 23, 75, and 6, all to Brady Glaus, and a 30-yarder to Tanner Learman for good measure, a 53-yard touchdown run. He accounted for all 5 Northwest touchdowns in a 34-0 win over Gering. They will travel to Alliance on Friday. We go to Crete, probably the best game of week 1, where Crete defeated Seward 34-31 in overtime. Rhett Harms, the Air Force recruit, 20 carries, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the game winner in overtime. And then we would be remiss if we didn't recognize a player in a great effort in a losing game. But High Plains and Heartland played a heck of a game over at Henderson the first week of the season, a 52-28 win for High Plains, who's in the top 10 in Class D1. But Austin Stewart of Heartland, remember we followed him a bunch at state track. He carried 25 times for 255 yards and scored all 4 touchdowns for the Huskies, who I think will still make some noise in that class.
Yeah, if you heard the Friday Night Spotlight, that the interview I did with his coach, Matt Maltzberger, he said, we're not hiding anything. We're not going to hide Austin. He's going to get the ball plenty, and teams are, sometimes they're going to stop him and sometimes they're not, and High Plains was able to kind of slow everything else down except Austin, but it will be fun to see kind of how he progresses and the rest of the team throughout the year. So that brings us to this week, week 2 or week 1, however type you look at the schedule. But Tony, we've got some great games on the Striv Network, and we're excited to get to a few of those here this week.
Yeah, there's some good ones. I mentioned Brad Bunner first. I think that one at Clarkson Lee will host Guardian Angels Central Catholic, a perennial 8-man power, and this will be an interesting one. I think Clarkson Lee might have the firepower to stay with Guardian Angels. Of course, Guardian Angels has been at it in the 8-man ranks here for ages. It seems like they were knocked out by BDS last year on their way to a state championship. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one turns out for Coach Clarkson. I think also you go down to Wilbur. Man, that's going to be one giant football game. Class C2, number 1, Hastings St. Cecilia against number 2, Wilbur Claytonia. Of course, the Wolverines have dropped down from C1 to C2, where they made the semifinals in C1 last year, so big things expected from them. They didn't disappoint week 1, a 59-0 win over Sandy Creek, where St. Cecilia won 33-6 over Freeman in their first game. So Coach Juergens, they got a big one. They can see right where they are right away. It's a big week actually in C2. A non-Striv game features the 3rd and 4th ranked teams, where Oakland Craig and Battle Creek will also play. That's a semifinal rematch from last year. So the pecking order in C2 will kind of be divvied out this week. And then, of course, we'll see number 5, Eric, in Sutton. But then the other one that I'm really looking forward to at Buell Stadium, Millard North, Millard West. We were there last year. Such a fun rivalry, and 2 great teams, 2 great coaches in Coach Petito and Coach Peterson that always have their teams ready. And, of course, Millard North coming off that opening week loss to Omaha North, who was ranked number 1 in Class A. And Millard West was impressive, a 56-6 win over Millard South, where their defense was just lights out. And then last year it was Ander Jaska and Luke Lawman in the backfield. This year our names to remember: Brody Belt, the tailback. He had 10 carries for 152 yards last week, 2 touchdowns. And the new quarterback is Giovanni Guido, touchdown runs of 1-3 and 78 yards. And how about 8 for 9 passing for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns? The Wildcats needed just 34 plays in that 56-6 win.
When you can get it done quickly, I guess that's the mode of operation for being efficient. You go back to the Millard North last year. They lost to Millard West. We watched that one where Millard West won early in the season. Last year it was the 2nd game of the year, and then of course that was the rematch in the state championship game. So I will be interested to see, with Millard North having an early loss like they did last week to Omaha North, how they respond coming into this week.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Remember, last year it was Millard West who had to play Omaha North in week 1, and that was kind of a classic, a late score from Shea Wyatt, got them off to a good start, and then Millard North really did some damage in the playoffs. But, yeah, it's really interesting. You know, Fred Petito, they always get better at Millard North. So I'm really curious to see how this one shakes out. And even if Millard North were to start 0-2, I don't think you even count them out until they are beat for the last time. I think they will be reckoned with in the Class A race.
And then that brings us to our Channel Seed Game of the Week. It is a C2 matchup. Malcolm, a new Striv school, comes to Sutton to take on the 5th-ranked Mustangs.
Yeah, you wonder if Malcolm upset someone at the NSAA office. I'm not sure, but they'll start out. Last week, of course, they played Oakland Craig, who was in the finals last year. A tough game for them, 34-3 loss. And then now, of course, this week they turn right around and they'll travel out to Sutton. And I'm looking forward to watching the Mustangs. They got a tough 40-34 win over Doniphan Trumbull last week, who I think a lot of folks think Doniphan Trumbull is a team that could win a playoff game or two in Class C2. The good quarterback Tate Mazur, who threw, completed 21 or 22 passes last week, as opposed to the Mustangs, who passed it 0 times. Eric Allgood, they did not attempt to pass in this game against Doniphan Trumbull. That was a 40-34 win where they had 2 rushers, Garrett Leach, and then their quarterback, Tanner Peterson, were both over 100 yards. And a lot of young talent at Sutton. I believe they're starting 5 sophomores on the defensive side. It should be an exciting one in Sutton.
If you were listening earlier in our show, Coach Steve Raymer said we can throw it, but if we don't have to, we won't. And that's not an interesting way. It's a fun way to think about it, and kind of gives the kids a little bit more of the identity, I think, that can sometimes be lacking in some teams. But Sutton doesn't really have any sort of identity crisis when it comes to what they want to do on the football field.
No, they're much like the folks that live in their town, Eric. They put their head down and they go, and they just try to beat you man to man.
Well, Tony, it should be fun. We look forward to more visits throughout the year, and of course, we've got lots of articles from you. We've got a couple of fun ones that we'll be posting tomorrow on StrivSports.com. I think we've got a cross-country feature, not to be confused with a cross-county feature that will be a little bit later on this week. But give us a little snippet preview of what we could expect on the written word from you.
Yeah, well, we'll do kind of a little preview of the cross-country season tomorrow. A lot of great Striv teams, but mostly focusing in on our 2 teams who've been kind of dynasties, if you will. The Milford boys team, who is run 4 consecutive state championships. The 2 years before that, they were state runner-up for 6 straight years in the top 2 for the Milford cross-country boys team. And then up in Albion at Boone Central, their girls team has won the last 2 state championships in Class C on the girls' side. And we don't even touch on Malcolm, who is the Class D defending champ. They have all 6 of their runners back. And Millard West is another team to watch. Both boys and girls were in the top 2 last year. And, of course, their great runner, Seth Hirsch, who is looking to defend his Class A and gold medal championship from last year. And then either late Thursday or Friday morning, I guess, depending on when it gets up and all of the work gets done to the website, we'll feature the cross-county football team who made a transition back up to 11-man last week. They beat Lutheran High Northeast 35-13, and Tanner Lamoury had a school record 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, a school record 83-yard touchdown run as well. We'll talk to the seniors at Cross County, 11 of them this year for Coach Ty Twarling, and kind of some goals they have against a very, very difficult schedule here in the weeks coming up.
I think it's awesome that Tanner had a touchdown run last week in the game that was longer than the field they played on last year at 83 yards, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, fun little snippets like that. So we look forward to that, and we will check in with you, obviously, several times throughout the course of the season. Look forward to a good year of Prep Huddle Live. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Eric. See ya.
So that leaves us with what is coming up next on StrivSports.com. We, of course, will have the Channel Seed Game of the Week. Friday night, it is Malcolm on the road to number 5 in Class C2. The Sutton Mustangs, so we're looking forward to that one on the Sutton Striv channel. A great number of games on the Striv network on Friday night. Looking forward to that. And like we had talked about with Berk Brown of Nebraska Prep Volleyball, 22 volleyball matches on the schedule right now for Thursday night as volleyball gets underway, cross country gets underway, so you heard about Tony's articles that are coming up. We will also have some podcasts on the way. Friday Night Spotlight podcast we'll post Friday morning. Excited about that. We kind of talk about the games that happened Thursday night, and there are a few, especially with the last few years. The Thursday night game used to be kind of a metro area just because you needed enough fields. But there are becoming more Thursday night football games for other schools outside of the metro area just because of the need of officials. And so some games are going to Thursday night, so there's a few that we will talk about their results Thursday night on the Friday Night Spotlight, a coach interview for the week, and then we'll have the rundown of every game in the state coming up in that Friday Night Spotlight. And then, of course, the Locker Room Podcast. We've had a couple of those up already. The softball teams are already into their schedule, so we've talked with York softball coach Danielle Sievers, and yesterday, actually on Tuesday, which is yesterday, today's Wednesday, right? We talked with one of our new Striv schools, Kearney High, got to feature them for the first time, and their softball team head coach Natalie Madsen was kind enough to join us yesterday. So the Locker Room podcasts are up. We are basically in full swing now with the first Prep Huddle Live of the season. Lots of content pieces, lots of great articles from Tony, and looking forward, like I said, to increasing our graphics get a little bit better all the time with Austin Penfield. So thanks to him. Speaking of thank you, we cannot have this show, we cannot have StrivSports.com without some outstanding sponsors of all of our events, including Cornerstone Bank, Truck Center Companies, who sponsors our Truck Center Companies hotline, Channel Seed, Dickey's Barbecue, and our newest addition, Nova Fitness Equipment. We had some fun yesterday, Austin and I did, at Centennial High School, shooting some promotional videos for Nova Fitness Equipment, and yes, I got quite the workout pushing Austin around on the sled for a few different times. So thanks to all of them for making it possible for us to do fun stuff like Prep Huddle Live on a Wednesday at noon. Check out StrivSports.com throughout the rest of the week. Lots of great stuff on there. We can't wait to share more great stories from all of our Striv schools. Until next week on Prep Huddle Live, we'll say so long, and we'll see you at the Game of the Week, Channel Seed Game of the Week, Malcolm at Sutton, Friday night. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
Home-cooked favorites and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to Dickeys.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a home-style side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to Dickeys.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.
Hey, what's going on?
Just checking the fields. Yours are looking pretty good. Must be doing something right.
Actually, I got a guy.
You got a guy?
Well, it's not just any guy. I got a channel seedsman.
Channel, yeah?
Yeah, I've been working with him pretty close to get, well, you can see for yourself. This is what I recommend. Let's get to work. Now this is what you want to see.
Maybe I should get a guy.
Maybe you should get a channel seedsman.
Find your channel seedsman at channel.com.
Hey, what's going on?
Nova Fitness Equipment of Omaha has provided the very best weight room, track and field, and sports surfacing products for over 30 years in Nebraska. They provide Cybex, Matrix Fitness, Vertimax, Tough Stuff, Pro Elite, Stairmaster, York Barbell, Troy Barbell, and UCS track and performance products. From rubber flooring, strength equipment, cardio products, and sports performance accessories, Nova Fitness Equipment has what you need to make your athletic program successful. Contact Nova Fitness Equipment today at their home office in Omaha or online at novafitnessequipment.com.
The trucking industry gives you a lot of opportunity for careers because there's such a wide, vast list of possibilities and areas that you can go into. As technicians, these trucks are as advanced as cars are today, so we need technicians that can work on them and understand how to work the computer system and get them up and running so the customer can make money. These trucks are workhorses, but they're built for comfort and they're easy to drive. Freightliner builds these trucks for drivers' wants and customers' needs.